All right, guys, welcome back to the show. This is Full Circle with Joyce, with me, Joyce Mondi Wahiga. And Relationship Tuesday it has been, and we continue with our final segment of the day before we call it a show. And right now we want to get into the mind of men and really understand what is it that makes men tick. Like, ni nini nafanyika huko ndani kwa kichwa? Ni nini? Today is the day. We have to know. We decided we want answers, Emmanuel. We want answers.
No pressure.
No pressure. Joining me on the show, I have Emmanuel Gashanja. Karibu tena to the show.
Thank you very much. It's
Good to
be
see
here.
you, Guy. Good to see you here.
Yeah.
And guys, again, you can give us your feedback on our SMS line. That's 22999, and also on our Facebook page at Switch TV Kenya. And I'll be happy to read those as we go along. Now, Emmanuel, you know, talking about the same way that men, I think, say, hey, Maze, we don't get ladies, we don't understand what they want. You know, I think a lot of women would say, okay, we also don't understand exactly what is in the mind of a man. When I want to talk to him, he's just giving me one-word answers. You know, what is it that is going on in the mind of a man?
Well, that's a complex question.
It sure is.
It's very difficult. But I think for that, you have to understand how men were wired and how we were created.
Okay.
I was listening to a gentleman some time back talk about men, and he was talking about in the Bible how, you know, God created the man, and he created man first for himself. Then second of all, he gave him purpose. You know, he has a purpose, and he gave him a command, you know, to dominate the earth, to rule the earth. So everything that you see a man doing is that innate desire to rule, that innate desire to, you know, just fulfill the purpose that is within him, whatever it could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do men sort of view then as that purpose and what they're supposed to be doing, like just in a general sense?
I don't know.
And as far as relationships, I guess, with
in as far as
their women,
relationships,
because this is usually in relation to how they relate with women.
I think for men, in relating to women, they want to lead, and they're looking for a helper. They want someone who will come beside them and help them accomplish everything that they need to accomplish, or what they feel they need to accomplish here on earth. So technically, he looks at the woman as a helper. He looks at the woman as an assistant, the woman who's the one who'll be there to cheer him on, and, you know, just be supportive of the things that he would like to accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Would you break it down for us as far as how women can then handle men when you have difficult conversations that we need to talk about? You know, how should you, are there sort of tips of the trade or like ways that we should go about it that would sort of help disarm a person? Because I certainly believe that's true, whether for men or women, that there's certain ways to approach difficult, you know, conversations. You don't just ruka straight away into it and, you know, just start blabbing out whatever you need. There's an act. It's the art of negotiation.
Yeah. Well, sisters, women out there, I'm giving you some free tips. The man has an ego. He's been built with an ego.
Yeah.
And one of the things I constantly share with couples, and I tell, I guess, the wives, I say, let me tell you, the moment you stroke that ego, chances are you will end up winning that conversation or getting what you desire out of that conversation. And I'm not telling you to manipulate the man.
Yeah.
It's just understand the art of talking. Now, man, you know, he always feels like he's the leader, he's the king, he's the boss. And you know, we've been told in church that the man is the head. In society, we are told, yeah, the man is the one who rules, you know, the roost. So he already knows he's the guy. He knows it's my decision that goes.
Yeah.
So if you try fight him on that, he has a way of digging in his feet and fighting you about that. I remember I was sharing a story of you know, some people that I know, and it's an older lady who was telling me, watch how I will speak to this person regarding this particular subject. We all know this guy doesn't like it. So this lady happened to find an article about what it is that she would have loved for them as a couple to do. So this is what she did. She walks up, gets out of the couch and walks up there and says, "Hey, honey, I saw this. I don't understand it. Can you help me understand this?" So the guy looks, he reads, he gets it. And then once he gets it, he's just like, "Yeah, in fact, this is this. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. And then, you make money out of it."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, thank you so much, honey. Thank you for telling me about this."
And it boosted.
And guess what? This is what, because he felt like the idea came from him.
Yeah.
He says, "In fact, we will do it." Whereas in the past, if she walked up to him and said, "We need to do this, this will help us make money," he probably would not have done it.
Okay.
But in my head, I was just like, "Oh my God, you were brilliant."
Yeah.
You just allowed him to take it and run with it. And now he owned it and he thinks it was his idea.
Okay, so ladies, there's definitely a lesson to learn in how to disarm, your man when you're trying to talk to him about something very serious. Learn the art of negotiation. It goes a long way. Emmanuel, in our previous segments earlier today, we were talking about abuse in marriage. And someone here had sent in a message. Given what you're saying about, men want to lead, they want to take that role in their households. I want to hear your thoughts on what Bob Onyancha has posted for us on Facebook. This is his feedback again on @SwitchTVKenya on Facebook. He says, "My marriage has never been okay since my wife is not submissive. Whenever we have problems, she reacts more like a man. I just feel like we are two men in the same house. I am getting confused because I'm feeling to quit this relationship." That's Bob, who's watching us from Mombasa. What would you say concerning that, in light of what you're saying as far as how men want to be the ones to be able to lead? And he's saying this thing, it's like there's two men in the house.
You know what? There are a few things that I have learned, I guess, personally, based on things that I've read, things that have been said, by other speakers who've gone before. And I'll never forget, one of my mentors told me this. He told me, the way your house is right now is based on the leadership that you're giving. So how is it that man, his name is Bob, right? How is it, Bob, that you can lead your home so that there's a calm spirit? Women, they say that if you give a woman a seed, a woman will give you a baby.
Yeah.
If you give a woman a house, she will make a home. So women tend to, just incubate or build up the things that you have given them. And sometimes the resistance, the what do you call it, the fight back from a woman is because of the way you are leading. I learned in my marriage, sometimes it's because I wasn't listening to my wife in the first place, and she would get frustrated when things fail. So, she would, at everyone, once in a while decide, no, we can't do that. This is how we should do it. The last time we did it your way. So I learned to listen to her. I learned to ask for advice in the first place before I undertake something. And the decision now becomes our decision as opposed to my decision imposing on the relationship.
On the relationship.
Yeah.
Excellent. So when we continue to reflect upon this topic, we also need to talk about men and self-esteem. Actually, someone did ask, a man asked, how do I know if I, for example, am being emotionally abused, right? It could be from a man, from a woman, whichever way. It's maybe not within a marriage relationship, but let's talk about men and self-esteem, because it's a big deal.
Yeah.
You've said ego for a man is very important. That's just how you guys are wired, right? So we see a lot of competition among the brothers. Like if you see your buddy has gone out and bought a new car, kidogo kidogo hata uko na pressure. Sahi mguu haiwezi, bodaboda tena haiwezi. Even you feel the pressure for buying a car, and not just any car. It can't even be a car to match his. Like now you feel you have to go above what he has done. Talk to us about that.
Well, here's what I feel. Society has put so many pressures on us, and these pressures are determining what we value. And if you value material things and make them important above what you should actually value, yourself, your purpose, you value your values, your character, then your self-esteem will be based on that. Where if I came in a Toyota Passo and my friend, just rolled in with his Range Rover 4.6, I will definitely be devalued as a man. If I walked in with my suit that I bought, down there River Road, and this guy just walked from Little Red with his 60, 70,000 shilling suit, I will definitely feel, less of a man.
Yeah.
But if my values and, is not based on that, on material things, then it doesn't matter. I'll be content. I often think of these guys who, we like to say, these ones have old money. And this one have new money.
Yeah.
What's the difference? The old money, they're both rich, right? However, the old money is so content in who he is that he's okay living in that bungalow, 3-bedroom bungalow, from 1970 something.
Yeah.
Well, this other guy is building a mansion and he's going to live only in one room.
Right.
And chances go only to the sitting room and the kitchen at most.
Yeah.
So so you can tell the difference between what they really value.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know, I feel like that's so relevant, especially to our young men today. Maybe the older generations, hopefully, if you're in your 40s and your 50s, you're living like you're just enjoying life and not feeling these pressures. But especially to the young men, this week, of course, there's been, international coverage on the death of this American rapper called Nipsey Hussle, right? I think that's his name.
Yeah.
And I watched a clip of something he had said when he was even younger. He was only 33, but even younger, I think in his 20s. He was being asked, so what are you doing with your newfound fame and your money? He's like, yeah, they were asking him, how comes you don't have bling bling all over the place? These pressures that guys feel.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your little red suit. How comes you're not wearing a little red suit? From Gikosh. And he's basically saying, look, I want to invest the money in assets and land. And the interviewer actually paused and asked him that question again, like, what? That you're a young man not succumbing to that pressure.
Yeah.
And I really want you to speak to young men concerning that today, because I think that pressure is with everything, not just the car you drive, but where you work, which businesses you've started. Maybe you can just take a moment right now and really just talk to young men as far as redefining exactly what it means to be a man.
Yeah. Wow. I guess for you to do that, you will just have to close off and block out what you see on TV, what you're hearing on the radio, in media, and then go for what is right. Understand what society is made of, understand what you were created for. When you understand what you were created for, it changes a lot of things about the way you do things. For example, when I was younger, I desired that, I would, in fact, I didn't care what profession I got in. All I cared about is that I will become the richest man that anybody could ever have found. I would, have my big house with a Maybach, not just a regular car, a Maybach. With a driver. I'm not driving it because I'm sitting on the back seat reclining, with my freezer, I had all the streams, of how even my driveway will look, who will be at my house, how many servants I'll have, I really had that until I realized what my purpose was. And the fact that I desired to leave a legacy. Let me tell you, that changed my life completely.
Yeah.
It changed my life to the point that I am willing to sacrifice a lot of things in order to achieve that legacy and to leave behind, a great,
a good name.
A good name.
Yeah.
For me now, that's much bigger. It's not that I had riches. In fact, I attend so many funerals and I see so many rich people, and none of them went with what they left here on earth.
Yeah.
And for some, I even watch where they have all what seems to be everything in the world, but everything in the world is not giving them the happiness. It's not giving them peace. You know, they're just struggling.
Yeah.
Yet there's people who are living a simple life, who know who they are, who know what they want, who know what God created them to do and what they want to achieve.
Yeah.
And these guys are living such purposeful, hopeful, you know, peaceful lives. And I think that's what we should desire.
Yeah.
You know, that inner thing, that inner desire to, you know, achieve or find what is it I was created to do. And, you know, spend the rest of my life trying to accomplish it.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what I'd advise them.
Excellent. I think in summary of our conversation here today with Emmanuel, it would really just be to say, as far as understanding, ladies, what makes men tick or how their minds work, Emmanuel stated very clearly, you know, just figure out how to approach them calmly, collected, in a very calm, cool and collected manner. Learn the art of negotiation. I love the story that you gave as how this woman, you know, spoke to her husband. But also just, you know, ego is how men are wired. I don't think that's something we're going to change. So the more you understand your partner and the more you understand people in the relationships around you, the better you're able then to handle those relationships. So keep that in mind. But also to the men, especially the young men who are watching, find your purpose. Money, wealth, women, it's not everything. I love what Emmanuel is saying. At the end of the day, what is your legacy? And with that said, Emmanuel, I want to thank you so much for coming. Penina Mudoni wa Ndugamano on Facebook says, say hi to Emmanuel Gashanja. I am happy I have learned something. Well, kudos to you and thank you for your time here. Guys, we're at the top of the hour just about, and taking us there we have Funbi with the song Hallelujah, and I'll be back in just a bit to wrap up the show. Stay tuned.